Should you post content from your business brand or your personal brand? In this video, I'm going to tell you the answer to this question and when you may want to change strategy. So posting from your business brand generally means that you're posting content to do with your company. So your values, your team, maybe your client wins, maybe the awards you've won, all those kind of things, the solutions that you offer, everything around your company, your products, your services, all that good stuff. Content from your personal brand tends to be about your stories, your experience, your expertise. So very specific content that delivers value to your target audience that they find educational and entertaining. Now, these two types of content are very, very different, and a lot of business owners get stuck thinking, well, which one should I choose? Or even worse, they try to do both and then really struggle because it's hard enough keeping up consistently with one channel, never mind multiple channels. So the best thing to do is to pick the right strategy from the offset and stick with it. So which one should you choose? So even though we're a content marketing agency that mainly works with really well-known and established personal brands, it doesn't necessarily mean we always think that you should post from your personal accounts. It really does depend. Now, for the majority of businesses, posting from your personal brand is going to be the right strategy. So if you're just starting out or you run a 5, 6, or even 7-figure business, you being the founder of that business and consistently creating content is what's going to get you more leads and sales. If you're talking about your experiences, stories, things that you found in your industry that frustrate you, if you're actually building that personal brand and getting that content out there, that means you're building a lot of trust with your potential audience. And that's one of the main benefits to creating personal brand content. It immediately cuts through all the noise and gets people knowing you, liking you, and trusting you, and therefore your company as default. People connect much more with people than they do companies. And I always use this example. I can always remember someone's name, but I can never remember the name of their company. A good example of this is I really like Patt Flynn. I constantly forget the name of his business, which is Smart Passive Income. I always Google, whenever I Google anything to do with him, I'm always like Patt Flynn. And then I'm like, what's the name of his business? And I'm looking through and I'm trying to find it. And I'm like, Smart Passive Income. And that's because I know Patt Flynn. I've listened to Patt Flynn on his podcast. I've followed him. I feel like I know him, and I just don't connect with his business as much as I do with him. And that's not a criticism. That's normal, human behavior. Humans just connect with humans on a far better level. So you want to make sure that if you're just starting out, or even up to around about 7 figures, you're posting consistently from your personal accounts. You as a founder have that responsibility of championing your own business, of making sure that everybody knows about it, that you're passionate about it, why you do what you do, and really making sure that you're getting as much value out there as possible. The second reason you should post as a personal brand is because it's much easier to make sales. If you're posting content and then people are getting to know you, and then you're getting them to take the next step with you, maybe that's get on a webinar, maybe it's a masterclass, maybe it's take your quiz or whatever it might be, they're much more likely to. They know that they're giving their details, their email address, their personal details over to someone they know, like, and trust. It's not just a faceless company. So you're much more likely to get a lead and a sale if you're producing content from your personal brand. Because let's face it, we'd all just trust a human rather than a business with our personal details, and we trust them more to buy from as well. So building a personal brand allows you to sell more effectively. Now the question is, when should you start posting from your business profiles? And for our clients, we mainly post from their personal profiles, but we do actually post from business profiles as well. So that means we'll create content on the LinkedIn company page or the Instagram company page or the YouTube channel under the company name. And that's because they've reached a certain level where the business can stand on its own 2 feet. So if you think about someone like Richard Branson is this fantastic personal brand. And originally, particularly kind of in the 90s, everyone knew his name, everyone knew who he was, everyone knew that he was this kind of maverick entrepreneur. You either loved him or you hated him, but everyone kind of knew who he was. And that's because he was growing his brand. He was growing Virgin, his brand. So we really needed to know who he was and what he cared about. And either we could get behind him or we could loathe him. But either way, he was very strong and he was very out there. But then he got to a certain point where he'd grown Virgin just enough so it could stand on its own 2 feet. It could stand as a brand by itself without the need of Richard Branson to constantly be championing championing it. And that's what you should be considering when posting on your personal account or your business account. Can your business stand on its own 2 feet by itself without you consistently championing it all the time? Another great example is Apple and Steve Jobs. You know, Steve Jobs was well known, he was renowned, everybody loved him, some people didn't, but that's okay. But Apple can very easily stand on its own 2 feet without Steve Jobs. So your job as a business owner is to do one thing, is to get your business to a level where it can stand on its own 2 feet, where it has its own marketing department or marketing agency that it works with, and it can create content without you constantly needing to champion it. And what we find generally that business owners do at this point is they start a new business and then they need to put all their effort and energy behind that one instead. But you viewing it this way means that you can grow multiple businesses to the point where they start standing on their own, producing their own content, being recognized as a brand in their own right. But until that point, you need to make sure that you're the one championing that business, creating that content, taking people on a journey with you until it's at the right point to stand by itself. So what we'd normally say is 5, 6, even 7-figure businesses, you're still reliant on that face, on that person to really create that content, to bring people into that business, to get people excited about it, to build that following and that reputation. Once you go beyond there, 8, 9 figures, that's when you can start thinking about, okay, this brand is trustworthy enough, it's making enough sales, it's clearly got that reputation, it's clearly got that following enough where it can stand by itself confidently and start producing content just as it is. So there you have it. I hope that's answered your question. Should you post on your personal brand or your business brand? And I would love to know in the comments below which one you'll be choosing to post from. And if you enjoyed that video, please don't forget to like and subscribe so you get notified the next time we release a video.